which the book is.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
Sorry, I was just telling
Say
you
that again.
the book is in America. I don't know where. I just got a text message. It's arrived in the
Okay.
US.
Yay!
Oh, you are so nice. Thank you. And I
But
told
no,
my sister about your book, and she wants to order it for her husband. So maybe you can
There
give
you
me
go.
some directions.
do you know that's the most common comment I get when I go to a talk at anywhere is the lady will come up and she'll say, "I want this for my husband."
That's
But the guys won't. The man will be there, but he won't come up. He won't come up and talk to me directly. He will when his wife does or partner. Yeah. His men are stupid lot.
good.
Well, it's just so common for men to hide their emotions. And my husband's, he's a big teddy bear. And, he's part of my story, part of my journey that I'll share today.
Great.
Right.
Great. Okay, so
Anyway,
I'm so glad that you both showed up because you showed up and that says something about you and how much you want to actually make a difference with these men and women that you meet. And as I mentioned last session, as we concluded our three-part series, was that you have something in common. You're dealing with emotions and you're dealing with it in a very different way. So I'm very happy to see that you're collaborating and sharing with each other. So what we'll do today in this bonus day where you're actually on a stage, right? You're on a virtual stage giving your message for the first time. Here comes Raquel. Wait for a second for her to. Hi, Raquel. So we're happy to be here, and we're going to have the three of you speak today. And what I would like you to do when you are not the one speaking is to actually be listening very closely and go into the chat and type some comments. So think if you were an event organizer and you'd heard this and you received this from someone who had heard Angie or Graham or Raquel speak, and you thought, wow, that's why I need to reach out to them, or that's why this application I got puts in their favor. And then what I want you to do also, it can be one sentence, it can be two or three sentences. It doesn't have to be a paragraph. Don't go into that. Just think like, what's the most important takeaway from this? Like, why would you want to hear the other person speak another time? Because when someone there are different ways to get on a stage, and the best way to get on a stage is when someone has heard you and tells someone else they need to hear you. And that's what you're doing for each other right now today. Something else I'll want to do is to take a picture at the end. So we have a picture because I would love for you to download your portion of the talk and actually start your first speaker reel. And then you have a picture you can put in there. You have you, the video of you doing it as well. So how does that sound?
okay.
Okay, good. All right. Angie, you're showing right here as up, and for some reason I'm not showing, so I'm going to mute, and Graham will mute, and Raquel already is muted, and we will turn the time over to you to take just 5 minutes and go ahead and give your message. And this is a safe place, okay? This is a safe place. So, how would you want to be introduced? And so, what I'll do is I will introduce you.
Okay. I'm one, you know me. So,
I do, yeah. But you're there to speak about a specific thing. You're practicing
mhm,
probably for that event you have coming up. How would you want to be
mhm.
introduced? And Graham and Raquel, if you'll think of the same thing too, and maybe put that in the chat. I was going to do that ahead of time because I would love to have, when you cut this out, you hear yourself being introduced, and then you also have you speaking. And then you'll also get the testimonials from each other. So, Angie, what would you say?
Okay, question.
Yeah,
So, would you always have someone introduce you? Like, I'm doing my paint night tomorrow night.
absolutely.
Should I have someone introduce me?
Mhm. The reason is because just like that person recommends you to someone else, they're coming to say, this is Angie. This is why she's here. This is why we get to hear from her. The same for Graham and for Raquel as well. I'm trying to get this right gallery here.
So, do you want me to write in the chat how I would want you to introduce
You
me?
you go ahead and just tell me, and then I will stop, and then I will introduce you, and then right after that, You can put up some, applause if you guys will use the reaction and put up some applause for her and so forth. And then I'll mute and then you'll start. Okay.
Okay, when do you want me to start? Are you going to introduce me?
I will,
Sorry.
but I want you to tell me how you'd want me to introduce you right now because I didn't do that before. The others are putting it in the chat.
Okay. And you want me to put it in the chat or just tell you?
Just tell me.
Sorry.
Tell me.
Um,
I know it's scary.
I know, it's just like, what do I say? I'd like to introduce Angie Martinez to you. I've known her for over 20 years. We first met at a personal development class, and we have worked together over several different topics over these last 20 years. And I don't know if you've seen growth or change in me, but if you have, you can mention that. And
Okay.
do you want to say what we're here to talk about or not? Just let me do
Yeah,
it.
you can tell me what you're like, if you had a title or something or a topic. Graham and Raquel, put in a topic. Just go back and reply to the one that you did if you have one there. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you want me to start?
No, tell me. I need to. What topic are you talking about today?
Oh, the topic. Gosh, I should have been more prepared for that. I give myself a
Okay,
topic.
I know what I'm going to say.
Here. Okay.
It's
Yeah, we're going to be talking about trapped emotions in your body is really
Okay.
what we're talking about today.
All I need. That's all I need. Will you do me a favor and try and mute for a second? I'm going to try again with this display to see if I can get just me showing and then just you. All right. Go ahead and mute. Hello, everyone. Today we have the honor of hearing from Angie Martinez. Now, Angie Martinez is more than a speaker. She's actually someone I have known for 20 years. And we have worked closely together over those 20 years. And you know what most of our conversations have been about? Trapped emotions. And we have been able to help each other. And today, Angie is here to talk to you about trapped emotions, and which all of us have, and what happens when we're able to release those emotions. Let's welcome to the stage Angie Martinez.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. So, how many of you have ever felt stress in your body, like tight shoulders when you're working on a project, or a knot in your stomach when there's something you haven't finished? Hi, again, I'm Angie Martinez. And before we get started, I would just love to give Maya Lisa an applause for creating this space for us to come and learn. So, can we give her a big hand? All right. And then also, I'd like to please give yourself a round of applause for showing up to be here to continue to grow and learn on how you can put your message on a stage. I love that you're here. So, applause for you. Thank you. So, my name is Angie Martinez. I'm a doTERRA wellness advocate and doTERRA essential oils. And they put the NI in natural intelligence. You've heard of AI, they're the NI, focusing on natural. So I've been in the wellness. Oh, is it okay if I share a little bit about myself? Thank you. I've been in the wellness industry for the last 33 years, and I've always been really intrigued by health and wellness. As a young girl, I participated in dance and ballet, and I've always been intrigued by the miraculous things that your body can do. And at age 30, I entered into the world of recovery and addiction through my husband. And that's really where my eyes were open to trapped emotions, experiences that were painful from our past or that hurt us or angered us that maybe at the time we weren't able to process, and they show up in our body. And I had this experience with my mom. She had all these problems and her stomach always hurt. And I tried several things to do with her. Nobody could ever find out what was wrong with her. And I would ask her, Mom, what do you think it is? Is there something, if you ever tried to talk to her about emotions, it would shut her down. She was from that era where, she was 88 when she passed, and you didn't talk about that. You just shrugged it off. And as we know, with research and the research that's out there now, trapped emotions stay stuck until you address them. And so about 7 years ago, I was introduced to essential oils through the company of doTERRA. And what I didn't realize is that they had been working on trapped emotions for quite a while. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about frankincense, because I was so dang nervous today, and I'm not kidding. Yes, my stomach was doing flops, and I felt like I was going to throw up, and that I had to go to the bathroom. And then I thought, okay, so frankincense. Frankincense is the oil of truth. And I absolutely love that. And this is the book that we work from. It was put together by a group of people. And what I love is that they talked about natural intelligence within a plant. And the oils actually don't do healing by themselves. That what their job is to put your body into homeostasis so that your body can heal itself. And so I'm just going to read a little bit about frankincense just to give you a taste. It reveals deceptions and false truths and invites individuals to let go of lower vibrations, lies, deceptions, and negativity. And so I'm so glad that I had this, because it was reminding me that I have been believing in lies, that nobody wants to hear my message, that it's not important. And I want to just fast forward a little bit. After I got involved with doTERRA, I got involved with the Bible, and there are some very special verses that I love. And one is the power of life and death are held in the power of the tongue. So all those affirmations, all those things that we say are so important. And it's biblical. And this is the part of my message that I've been really nervous to share. And my sister sent me a message today with a song. And please forgive the emotions. The song was Daughter of a King, because I wasn't going to talk about this part of my journey. And it's that remembrance that over my journey, I have tried lots and lots of different things. But it was when I actually got into the Bible and read scripture along with oils that I was able to have a lasting emotional breakthrough. I had done tapping, I'd done journaling, I'd done years and years of personal development, but I really believe it's that foundation of scripture that actually has changed this. And what I love about the oils is that when you can't figure it out, the oils give you a clue, and then you can take it to the Lord in prayer, and so what I love to do with people is bring them into a situation one-on-one and just have a conversation, where we can do it in a small group. Sometimes it's hard in a large group for people to feel open enough to share. But I believe I've been called to share the oils and to share the message of Jesus. And it's scary. It's scary to actually say this out loud. So thank you. I appreciate the audience. I appreciate your support. If you would like to know more, I like to do one-on-ones. If you'd like to learn more about how oils can help release those trapped emotions that are in your body. A lot of times we will look at where you're hurting. If you have knee pain, that is one of the indications that you are stuck or afraid to move forward. Because knees, hips, forward motion, those give you clues about where those emotions might be stuck. So Um, anyway, put contact me in the chat if you'd like more information. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me be on this stage today.
There you have it. That's Angie Martinez, and we're so glad that she was on the stage today. And there's some wonderful comments coming in here. And Angie, if someone was to reach out to you, would the best way be by an email or how?
Best way is text message.
Okay.
So, and if you'd like, I can put my number in the chat. If
Okay.
that's
Thanks so much.
Is that all right? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we have another speaker coming up, so we'll get ready for that. And I think, Graham, you have put yours in the chat, how I can introduce you. So I will bring that up here. And Angie, if you'll go ahead and mute, and Graham, if you'll unmute, hopefully it will bring his picture now to the front here.
Can I just explain in context? I've changed. So I've spoken about childhood trauma at a few groups, smaller groups, but it's always very technical. It's about, this is what happened, this is the event. So today for the speech, I know that in many respects you shouldn't just talk about yourself, but what I'm doing in this speech is talking about my journey and getting to the older part. So I just want to put that in context because it's a bit different to what I normally.
Great. I love that you're trying that.
Well, let's see how it goes first.
Speech number 2.
Understand as well.
Okay. I'll introduce you. Here's our second speaker today. His name is Graham Robinson, and Graham himself is a survivor of childhood trauma. Wow, that's a lot. And he advocates now, especially for older people who have undiagnosed childhood trauma. Sometimes we're not even aware of it. It may come in a different way. And he looks back to change the past. Let's welcome to the stage Graham Robinson.
Thank you, Marlisa. Now, what I'd like to do is I want to tell you about a boy who, at 13, left home and left school. He left because it was unsafe within his home, and he was given that year's school report, and he was walking home, and he looked at the report and he realized it was so bad that he knew what was coming. So he tore it up and threw it away. And then he decided he was going to find a job and leave the home. But what he didn't know was that the world outside the home was just as bad as the world inside the home. And the first job he had, he was beaten by the manager of the shop with iron strips every time he did something. And then before the age of 14, he was sexually assaulted. But what he did was he looked forward. He never looked back. He moved on. He just never thought about it, and he kept moving on. Then he met a friend who was much older and had a car, decided that they should go to the city. He lived in a small country town. He went to the city, and the friend 2 days later took all the money and left. And he was left alone and broke in a large and unforgiving city. But he found people who fed him. He found a home where he could live with other boys who were like him and didn't know what they were supposed to do. He just kept moving. He moved forward. He never looked back. And then by the time he was in his 20s, he had a good job with good friends. But whenever he was with them, he always felt alone. At a party, when he was out, he just felt like he didn't connect. In his 30s, he's married with children. And then one day, as he gets to the end of his 30s, he tells his wife, I don't belong here. I don't know why. I just feel that I don't belong. And he left. By the time he's in his 40s, he's got a very good job, which he loses because he's starting to get angry now. He's starting to demand from his staff that they are perfectionists. He's starting to tell them that they must do things his way. He needs to control everything. And of course, by that stage, he's not understanding why. And he loses that job, but he moves on. He never looks back. He doesn't think about what's happening. And then he gets a shock. By the time he's 50, he's sitting one evening watching television, and he sees a father put an arm around his son on the TV, and he says to him, I'm proud of you. And that causes him to collapse and start crying. And he's sobbing on the floor, and he doesn't know why it comes out. He has no understanding of what's happened. He doesn't look back then. He just tries to move forward, but he's stuck.
And suddenly he starts to understand that there's something wrong and he needs to look into it. So he starts investigating childhood trauma. He starts to hear about it. He starts to find out that all the things that happened to him, as he looks back now, he realizes are coming from that childhood trauma. Up until that stage, like many men and many women have come from a generation where we don't talk about what happened as kids, we accept it. But what we have to know is that what happened to us was abuse, whether it be emotional, physical, or of course sexual abuse, which is by far the worst. So why does trauma start to come out at 50, 60, 70? The reason is that at that stage of our life, if we've had undiagnosed trauma, we all of a sudden have our lives together. We have our career, we may be even retiring. Our family may be up and left. And of course, our social circle is usually fairly settled. And that means that we have more space and time. Childhood trauma sits in your nervous system. It doesn't leave, it doesn't heal, and time doesn't heal it. So what will happen is that as bit by bit, imagine a balloon where the air starts slowly to leak out, and that's what happens with childhood trauma. You will see incidents where somebody is angry for no reason. A 60-year-old man will fly off the handle at his partner or scream at somebody else. It comes from nowhere. And if you don't do something about the childhood trauma, that explosion can be incredibly dangerous, not only to yourself, but to everybody around you. As that boy moved forward, as I started to understand, I started to look back. And once I started to understand what had happened and accept that it was abuse, I was able to get help. And out of all of the things that I have said, there is, of course, every one of us has a different idea of what childhood trauma means to them. What hurt me won't hurt someone else. But what you do have to do is look at what happened to you and start to think about ways to heal, to look for someone to help you. Because you have to remember that what happened to you was not your fault. And therefore, you need not take that on as a responsibility, but healing is your responsibility. If you don't, you will damage your loved ones, you will damage your friends, and ultimately, you will most likely damage yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham. We've just had the chance to hear this wonderful storytelling that helps us to see the picture. To paint, Graham does a great job of painting a picture of what can happen when we have the tools to move past our childhood trauma in a very calm and affirming way. Thank you so much, Graham. Okay, Graham, go ahead and mute so it will make sure that Raquel comes up. Raquel, do you have something in the chat yet that you want me to use to introduce you?
Yes, I sent it to you. Or just, I mean, it's a little blip that I just already put in.
Let's see.
It should be, I just put it under your post.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Will you go back to your post for both Angie and Raquel and send Graham that you put on people, and then just put a second one that says your title, like I put, Global TEDx Speaker Coach, so that it also has the credibility based on what you are that helps them. They can take your quote, then they know who said that quote to. Okay.
Yes. So like the thing that we just put in, you want us to put a title next to what we put in?
Yes. So if you see in mine, when I spoke about,
I do see that.
Then I put a title there. And I put International Speaker Coach on Angie's, but Angie, I also put Global TEDx Speaker Coach. You can use either one and my name, and then just copy that. Make sure that you're saving the chat and that you're taking these quotes that people have for you. Okay, and Raquel, I do see yours. I did. Where did it go? All right.
I'll write this differently. That's what I'll do.
Okay. And go ahead and mute right now while you do that, and then I will introduce you, and then we'll have you go. Our third speaker today is Raquel Heap, and Raquel is an up-and-coming expert in storytelling and neurochemistry. Wow, how do those two go together? That's what we'll find out. Through intense personal study that she has done and her personal experience, she's been able to heal the broken programming that we all have. We all have a broken programming and somehow. And so we're excited today to see how Raquel can help each of us do the same thing. Let's welcome to the stage Raquel Heaps.
Yes. Thank you, my Lisa, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. And I'm so thankful that all of you are here because sometimes it takes guts, like, right? Even in an intimate group, like Angie said, it takes guts to be able to share what it is that's like deep inside, which is funny because that's the message that we all carry. It's the stuff that you feel deep in your bones that you can go into. Well, right off the bat, you guys, how neurochemistry and the storytelling world came to my focus was about 5 years ago, which is awesome because therein lies and there enters my Lisa, quite frankly. Like it was during all of this time that my world was in an upheaval. I was following a map, if you will, that I was told since childhood that I was like, yeah, you follow this map, you're just going to end up super happy. Like, I mean, it sort of just seemed like plug and play. Like, you follow this map, you're going to have joy. You follow this, you're going to be able to know happiness. You do this, oh my gosh, you're going to avoid this. And you're just going to be able to like fly, basically. I was like, well, yeah, like who wouldn't want that map? Who doesn't want that like rainbow arc? Like, yes, you could touch it. Like, let's go do that. So I did all the things, at least according to what I thought. I did all the things. I did them all. I thought, yeah, I ticked this box and I ticked that box and I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that. And yet things were coming together. They were not coming together. And I could not understand why. I could not understand why. And I started to kind of go in a spiral. And this spiral went far and it fell fast. And before I knew it, I had hit the ground. There was no way for me to get up. I didn't have tools. I didn't know what was happening. I just felt like one hot, broken mess. And what I love from what Angie and Grandma just said, I'm like, I think you guys understand that. I think you know what it feels like to be hot, broken mess. There's nothing like it. And in fact, I was pouring my heart out to God in prayer. And I should probably give this little bit of information, but I was angry. I was so angry at God. I was so angry. I was like, you said if I did this, I would end up with a life full of joy. I haven't. So what the crap? Like that was really a majority of my prayer. And it was during this time that I began to realize that when you start to bleed from your soul, it's really where it's a catalyst for major change can happen. I didn't know that at the time, but it's really when major change becomes an option. So if you have felt that way, first off, my heart goes out to you. And second, holy cow, are you in an incredible place too? So I was standing in the shower one time and I wanted to know, and I was just pondering all the things it is that I could do. And storytelling started to kind of come to mind. And I was like, okay, it's an interesting thought. And one of the ways that I've come to be able to understand that when it is a divine thought, it it doesn't come to you just like as if like a train of thought. It's very often it's kind of like, whoa, I didn't even think of it that way. Like, okay. So storytelling started to kind of become a niche that I started to research and how does it affect us and why are we so invested in storytelling? I mean, we spend billions worldwide, you guys, for movies, for streaming, for YouTube things. Like, I mean, it is a $1 billion business worldwide. And yet I was like, I still don't understand how this would help me change. How would it help me change? I was walking down our sidewalk in our backyard and I was listening to a book by a very famous neuroscientist and I will never forget it. Like to this moment, right now, in this moment, I can feel the feelings. I can see the sidewalk. I can see the ivy that was growing on the garden. I can feel the wind. I can see it all, you guys. It was right there. And it was the voice of Jill Bolte Taylor, who said that she was like, you have the capability to literally change the structure of your brain by the stories and thoughts you think. It exploded my mind. And that emoji, I'm like, it still doesn't do it justice. I'm like, no, my cap was off. Like it was gone. I was like, holy cow. And from that moment on, I have truly dug deep, and I mean deep, into really crazy holes that I'm like, why don't we talk about this? Why doesn't anybody know that you are capable enough of changing and shifting not only the chemistry of your brain, the structure of your brain, the very organ that is the catalyst for everything else? It is connected to nervous system, into workings, into all the things it is that we want to achieve, do, be, become. You can change it. You can change it. And in fact, this last week, I just began to understand how integral storytelling is to nervous system reshaping. So it almost doesn't matter how you begin, it just matters that you begin. So, my friends, if you really want to make incredible change, incredible shift deep within your soul, start with a story. I'm so thankful to be here. Thank you so much. My name is Raquel Heap, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Raquel. We've just listened to Raquel Heap tell us how that we can restructure our brain with the stories that we tell each other, and that quote she gave is from the first TEDx talk that went viral, Jill Bolte Taylor. And what a woman who understands the brain. So thank you so much, Raquel.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, now if you will each make sure that you've given something for them, each of them, that they can then take and use when they apply, or when someone asks, or you even do a social media post or whatever you'd like to with this, because you're building now your first your collateral of testimonials that can be used. You've now created your first speech that can be used in a speaker reel. You can take a clip from this. At this moment, you can use all of it if you want to. And then as you add other speeches, you can slice that into it and continue to do it. I was looking at a speaker reel of Mel Robbins, who also is a famous TEDx speaker. And the one she did in 2017 is just a 4-minute one. And now she has a much bigger one in 2024, because she has getting on the TEDx stage just like blew her life apart as far as being a sought after. There was a time where she was the #1 sought after female speaker in the world. Brene Brown has been up there as well. So it's really important to have people actually, even in your audience, to know what is it that you took away from here. So having each of you tell the other two people what you took away is going to be powerful and helpful to them. Okay, let's go ahead and Angie, will you go ahead and read out loud yours? Well, no, we're going to do that. You guys will just take this and put it there, but make sure that you match up what she said with her title and vice versa, because some of you put your titles in there later. Okay, so Andy, will you tell us what that experience was like for you? I'm going to switch now to the all of our mode here.
There we go.
Get all of us here.
Okay, what I loved was I loved hearing everybody else. You gave me so many good ideas. And you both did stories. And Graham, I loved how you transitioned from your story into kind of some of the more technical details, like what will happen if you don't take care of the trauma. I loved that. And Raquel, I loved your passion. I mean, wow, that, and of course, I'm relating it back to like, how can looking at how you did yours, how can I improve mine by what I liked and what I took away? And, honestly, I would love to work with both of you, because your stories were so compelling. And I loved that how you just wove the passion and the story together. Really good.
Good, thanks. Graham, how about for you?
I found them both amazing. I mean, I loved the emotion and openness of both, and and I know how difficult that is to do, because I struggle with that greatly, and so to be able to do that is wonderful. And for both, I want to learn. The interesting thing, I want to learn more the I already said with Angie, I want to buy some frankincense. I want to find out what that's like. And with Raquel, that was great storytelling. It really was. That was the way to tell a story. It engaged me all the way. Yeah, it was. It's interesting that everybody has that ability to tell their story. It's just that it really comes down to the confidence and just putting all the fear aside. Just don't worry about the fear and just do it, because yeah, everybody has their story, and everybody has the ability to share their story as long as they are being authentic. And that was two very authentic stories. That was great.
Thank you. Raquel, how
Thank you.
about you?
What I loved most is the genuineness. I mean, and from both of you. Like it's like it was the real, well, I don't even know what other word to use, but like the real. Like it was like, no, like you can clearly tell that this wasn't something that you're making up, that it wasn't something from, well, it wasn't something that, oh, what's the word? Chat GPT wrote up for you.
Mhm.
It was like, and that's something that I'm coming to see a lot of, is that people are getting a lot of their scripts from ChatGPT, which I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's good and bad. Like honestly, like when you have to like write out a quick little blip and you're like, I just need it, like I just need it so I can post it and be done. Great. At the same time though, you guys, it is how you guys were telling your subject. It was how you guys were showing that it really mattered, that I was like, yeah, like I would learn from you. I do want to know more about childhood trauma because I want to be able to help the people who are around me be able to do that. And even myself, quite frankly, I actually heard from a psychologist once. Um, and they this always makes me laugh, but she was being dead serious. She was like, if your parent was short of Jesus, she's like, you have trauma. She's like, that's it. Like, that's it. She's like, if you have any experience with any other human, she's like, I promise you, you have some sort of measure of trauma. And I didn't realize that until I actually had learned from this. It was a lecture that I listened to from a professor down in Texas, and she's a neuroscientist, but she calls them micro traumas. And she's like, and that's what happens is that people build with the micro trauma over time, which I was like, Graham, your story was so spot on with that. I mean, and you didn't have micro traumas, like, but they were like bricks. And then all of a sudden, this experience came to you, and you were like, and all the bricks are falling out of my backpack, and who knows what's going to happen when they roll downhill? Like, that's just happening. Here we go. So I loved that. And Angie, I super loved that you have this very real front row seat with your husband. I can't imagine that feeling. Like, I have watched a friend who's been in a marriage like that, where he had to work overcoming doing addiction recovery. And my hat's off to you. Like that takes an inner strength from both of you to be able to really dig in. Because digging in, it doesn't feel good. And that's like what I think is so funny about people is that they're like, I totally want this change. I totally want to do this. And I'm like, okay, but you're gonna cry. And they're like, I don't want to cry. I'm like, okay, but you're gonna. Like, if you really wanna, then you gotta get in. It's gonna get messy. And you gotta be okay with messy. So that's what I think I loved about it. It was just this genuine, real story, real thoughts, uncurated, just here we go. This is what I know. So I really enjoyed it.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, what I'd love to do next is to take a photo. And Andy, could I get you to turn your camera horizontal instead and maybe tip it so we can see more of you? There you go. I'm only seeing your chin though. Perfect. Because I want to have that best look in the picture here. And I'm going to try and get my hands and still look at here. All right, so everybody look up here. And on the count of three, we'll smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll take two of those because then that's something you have been on this stage, right? You've actually have now landed your first virtual gig, right? Angie's on her, yay, let's do yeah, do that. You guys all raise up your hand as an yay. That's great. We'll do that. um, so and Angie has one that's coming up, an actual in-person one. And Graham, I know you have done them before, but you're working on your other. Give me an update, Graham, where you're at with landing your next gig.
So I actually waited until this before I'm sending out some applications to smaller ones, and there's a trauma conference coming up in one of the cities about 2 hours drive from me, and they're looking for applications from. So they've got all these very high profile keynote speakers on trauma, but they are looking for people to apply who I just want to talk about their subject matter and in relation to trauma. So I'm putting in an application for that next week. And now I'm just going to be talking about childhood trauma, but you can do workshops as well. But I haven't done workshops for a while, so I'm not sure I want to do that. But yeah, so that's the next step, and then continue to reach out to smaller groups in the regional area, and then spread out and keep doing that. But yeah, so next week I'll be starting to actually reach out.
Great, super. Now you have some things to do that, and if they want to hear you speak, then you've got a little bit there for them.
Yeah.
Raquel, how about you? Stages.
I need to start finding more stages, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, no lie. I have plans. Oh, good job. I'm like, I really want to go through and I want to look through like that Excel spreadsheet and start doing that. Because honestly, my friend's right. I'm just like, man, if I could like land 4 gigs at this much, I'd be like, dudes, that would be life-changing in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, and you don't live that far from Angie, I've discovered. So, and Angie has one coming up, and we'll do more. So maybe you could host Angie in your home, and vice versa, something like that. Even do a collaboration. And I think you saw from one of the recordings, I don't remember if you're present or not, how you can go on and use AI to search. And I think Angie and Graham, you're a little bit blown away about what you could actually find from AI about stages that are just right there, like right in Angie's backyard, close by to Graham and so forth. So I encourage you to do that. Anything else you want to share, Angie, about finding your next gig? Let's see, Jeff, I have to unmute you again, right? It looks like, hold on. Angie asked to unmute. Did that work?
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. I would love that. Yeah, Raquel, where do you live?
I live in Harriman. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Cottonwood Heights. So yeah, my next gig is tomorrow night. I'm doing a thing at Pet Suites, and we are one of the things that I've done is combined art with essential oils. So we are doing a pet portrait, but talking about the emotions of what our pets bring us, and I've lost my pet and it's been really hard. I've lots of grief. And so I think it'll be really fun. But yeah, I would love to get together with you because I think we could collaborate.
I was like, that would be really awesome. That would be awesome. I probably won't be able to come. I actually work tomorrow night, which is I was like, if it was tonight, I would be like, yes, let's go. Like, we would do it. So I think you put your phone number in the chat, right?
I did.
Okay, so I will. I'm actually.
Go ahead. Something else I want to say is that you, in some ways, are international speakers now because you're speaking with someone from Australia, and someone from Australia is speaking with us, the three of us here in the United States. So,
I love that.
that you are an international speaker on a virtual stage. That doesn't mean you have been in Australia or New Zealand or China or anywhere to speak, but that will happen too, likely. When I got the inspiration from God to go to India, I was like, whoa, you want me to go to India and speak to all these people? And so that became the basis of my speaker reel too. Now, if it's okay with you, I want to talk to you just a little bit about what you could possibly do next. That's okay. Go ahead and put yes in the chat.
Yes.
Because I want you to know that you have all just done something that most people never do. You got up and spoke. And people work so hard to get on a stage and then nothing comes from it. And now you're at a really important point. It's what happens next when I do. So when you're at PetSmart or whatever you called it there, sorry, I don't know, talking about your pets, do you want them to just feel good? Of course, you're all working with emotions, so you do want them to. But what do you want them? What happens next? Is what I see all the time, even with powerful speakers, is they give a great talk and then nothing comes from it. No one follows it. No real conversations happen, no opportunities created. It's like that euphoria was there, but then the next day they begin to forget about it and you begin to forget about them. Not because your talk wasn't good, but because the message isn't shaped in a way that lets people know what to do with your talk. And that's the shift. It's not about being a better speaker, it's about being a clearer one, and clear on what you want people to walk away with, clear on who it's for, clear on how to naturally invite them into the next step. And what would you want to happen? Now, this is what I want to ask you. What would you want to happen after you speak? So, Angie, since you are speaking next, what would you want to happen after tomorrow night?
Let's see. What I would like them to come to my next class where we can dive deeper into, like, do they have something inside their body that's bothering them? That's one of the first clues. Or are they having anxiety? Is there an emotion or maybe a part of their body that's bothering them? And we would explore that deeper and how. And so I'm sure it's like asking more questions, and then offering, I have another event coming up that you are welcome to come to.
So in the class, what you want them to do is to actually do something to find the emotion. And then after the class, you want them to come to your next one to learn more about it. Okay?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Now, something that Graham said to you is what? Graham, what did you say after she spoke? You want to buy
frankincense.
Mm-hmm. What you really want is to have a client. You want someone, yes, to come to the event, yes, to feel that, but you want them to purchase.
Yes. Yes, I would. Yes. We want clients, right?
To bring your first client. And that happened for you today, Angie. You gave your first speech and you have your first client in Graham. Okay, Graham, what do you want to have happen after you speak?
So I suppose start the conversation, but you're right. You want to because I've got a certificates in hypnotherapy. I guess, but you're marrying the talks between trying to attract clients and in a different way. So I'd like them to start the conversation amongst themselves between their partners about childhood trauma and the impact. So I'd like to touch them in the sense that they would see in their partner these things are happening and understand that that's trauma and have that conversation with them. And I mean, obviously in a longer speech, I'd talk about healing and the modalities that you can look at and so forth. But yeah, that's what I would like. I don't really practice hypnotherapy so much anymore. So I guess the idea for me is trying to get more stages from that stage to get what you said, to have somebody say, hey, you should go and listen to him because he knows about childhood trauma, and your partner, you talk about doing all these things that he mentioned. So that's really what I would like the stages to do, to elevate to more stages.
Great. And those being paid stages. So that's the way you would get your next client is your next stage.
It helps to have money. Yeah.
Yes, it does. And another thing you just said is earlier that you said in one of the earlier sessions is I have a book. So when you speak, then make sure that it's okay that you let them know about the book and that there's a QR code up there for them to go and get that off of Amazon and buy it, because you gave one to Angie. And what did you say today, Angie? Your sister wants to.
She wants to order one.
Okay. So Graham, put that in the chat, how she does, just like you would there if it's virtual, or if you're up on a stage. And of course, you have to have the permission of it, or there are certain ways that you can still do it. But really what you want to have happen after that is you want them to change, but you want them to either hire you to do that, or you want them to hire you to speak on another stage, or you want them to actually buy the manual that you've written. Possibly all those things. Now, what you don't want to do is offer all three. You just want to, each one, which are you going to do? Like today, like when I first started speaking, I would give out at a speech like this, I would then say, and for any of you who want to know the top 10 tips that TEDx organizers are looking for in a TEDx speaker, raise your hand. I'm going to put in the chat the link to that. And then that brings me in my first contact information with them. Each of you can develop something like that you give out something free. So when you speak from stage, you want to capture that. Robert Allen is one of my mentors, and he wrote, he's a New York Times bestselling author. And he said, what I learned about writing a book is they got all of the leads, like the bookstore did, or the publisher did. I didn't get any of those. And why I wanted the leads is I was doing seminars. I was doing, like 3-day seminars for them to learn how to do this real estate. And that's where I made a lot of my money. So now when I write a book, there are marketing words in that book also that get them to reach out to me so that I can collect their names. In fact, he says, if you're writing a book, it's how many words did you write today and how many names did you collect by doing that. And so, Angie, you want to collect names, but it's not just to collect names. You want it to be that you've given them something. So, for example, for me, someone now in TEDx, I talk about the 8 stupid mistakes people want, and then that if they want that, they go get it. And then if they want to sign up to talk to me, the calendar is right after that. So Raquel, what do you want to have happen after you speak?
Like Graham hit it right on the nail. I was like, yes, that is so what I want. I want to be able to build a career as a professional speaker where I get stages from other stages. And I do want to be able to do workshops for storytelling as well. Like that is a desire of mine. I mean, anyways, and then I do want to do a little bit of mentoring on the side for sure. I think I mean, I just know that's done for me, and I've had mentoring clients before, and so that's been really valuable that way. But for the most part, I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to kind of get my name out there, so that way they're like, no, her story really is one worth hearing. Like we could do this.
And one of the best ways is to have an outcome for them. So the outcome for here was for you to land your stage. So you have landed this virtual one, but I want you to go further to actually land that stage. Angie has one she's doing it at. Graham's going to apply now. Raquel's going to apply now to do it. But if you got to get started and get out there and actually land it. And then there are different ways to speak from stage. You're just simply paid. You sell from stage. And so you have to know which one it is. Sometimes you're going into a corporate America, and then they pay you something, but they also buy your books. Maybe they're going to buy 200 books or something like that. So it's no, what do you want to have happen after you speak? So thanks for sharing that. So I would like to do a little beta program with you and possibly some others. Then that's exactly what to focus on, is what you want to have happen after you do this. So this next one is going to be very small and very focused, and really a beta one, and where we take what you started here and then refine it into something that actually creates results for you. So where people don't just listen to you speak, they come up to you after and say, I need to work with you, right? And that's what you need to learn to do, to turn that speech into clients, turn that speech into a book, turn that speech into a workshop that you do, turn that speech into selling your product. So we would work on your message and how you close your talk, because how you close your talk is not just like, okay, everybody's feeling great now. Oh, yep, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's like, what do you want them to do? All of you want to make this a profession in some way. This is how you want to do your livelihood, is taking something that you believe so much in, and all of you are doing emotions together, and you could even collaborate, and sounds like maybe a couple of you will here, is how you close your talk. You've got to give them that next step. So I want to give a few more reps for you so it feels more natural. Today was your first rep, and help you get more aligned with your message and what you say at the end. So if you personally are feeling like, I don't just want to speak, I want something to come from it when I speak, then let's have a conversation. So if you want to have that conversation, would anyone like a link to my calendar? We can talk about having it.
Yes.
Okay. Bring it back here. I had it up at one time. Let's see. Okay, here is a link. Graham, you've done it before. The same link. Now, because this is a beta, when you go, it's going to talk about TEDx, but just know that you don't have to answer those questions. Just go ahead and get on, and we'll talk about the next step for you to do something like that. So talk to me about it. What would you want to see? More reps, how to close a speech, how to actually turn your first speech into your first clients, right?
I think I'd like to, yeah. It's all very well to talk about childhood trauma and say, oh, this happens. But if you don't turn it into something, you're just constantly doing the circle of, and that may be fine and altruistic and all of those things. But ultimately, yeah, you don't want to spend all that time, and it will cost money, travel, and all the rest of the things, and not turn it into a at least a part business. I mean, it may not be full time, it may turn full time, but yeah. So that would be my goal. How do I take it from this conversation where everybody goes, oh, to actual business?
Great.
Yeah.
Angie?
Gosh, sorry. What I would like to do is I'd like to create a workshop that I can put people into. And maybe it's like, a 4-week or an 8-week workshop where we're working through emotions and finding them in the body and that kind of a thing.
And you're also selling those products at that time, or you're selling the rollers, or you're selling whatever it is that you do as well.
Exactly. And maybe the package is like, maybe it's just that they buy the package and the coaching comes with it.
Yeah. Raquel?
Yeah, I think I'm like, that I think is the joy or the hope of it, is that just like what Graham was saying, I kind of feel like that's where I've been stuck in for a while. Is that I'm like, I'll like gear it up, like I'll make like this tremendous push, and then I'll have like, a class or people come, and then it kind of just dies, and then I feel like I have to do that again. So I think what I'm really trying to do is, yeah, I think just get like more of those leads, like get more of like those. Well, I'm like, and I feel like this is, I don't know, because I don't want to sound like selfish or anything, but it's more like I really want to be able to do like a good hard push and then start seeing like that return, like, right, like, oh, okay, like there's some momentum here that I can start using to like keep this rolling instead of having to constantly make these big efforts and pushes and stuff. And especially, I mean, I would like to be able to do that. And get it going while my kids are so little. Like, I have little kids right now. So I'm like, I would like to be able to do that balance as well.
Great. Okay. So let me see, where was I here? So I really want you to think about this and what you want to have come from it, and we can have that conversation. Let me go back here again for just a moment, and then we'll end. I hope this starts from the right one. If it doesn't. Yeah, so I will talk with each of you individually to see if it's a fit. And what would you feel when your first speech brings you your first client? Angie, how did you feel
Super
when Graham
jazzed.
said he wanted frankincense? Graham, how did you feel?
You know what?
His sister wants to buy the book.
I loved it. I was like, wow. Like, because I kind of felt like I was all over the place, and that and it wasn't really talking about frankincense wasn't originally in my plan. And had I not talked about it, I would not have someone interested in it.
Yeah. And so that's just the link there, the talkaccelerator.com/calendar link. And I put that in the chat. And Graham, you need to put in the chat how we buy your book. And Angie, you need to put in the chat how he buys frankincense. And Raquel, what do you need to put in the chat?
Like I was like, probably my email, like
Okay,
would be my thought. I
email is
mean,
a great place to speak. It's a great place to start. And it is, pretty simple and something we can talk about how you can, like I said, I just had that first, the top 10 things that a speaker coach is looking for, TEDx speaker coach, when I started doing this online in 2020, and the different things have happened. But you have lots of times they'll say, do you have something that you want to give to the audience? And that is gold for you, because that is giving you their contact information. That's how I stay in touch with you, is by I have your phone number, I have your email. And so you're going to start by giving your email to us. And if the rest want to put your email in there, you can as well. And you are, for the group of you, Estorina, as well, you're in the Facebook group too right now to land your next speaking gig. But always be thinking, how can I collect names? And then what's in it for them? Like, it's what I'm in it is I want to have you as a client. And just like you want to have other people as a client. And I'm going to speak so that I get clients, and you're going to speak so that you sell product, you get clients as well. That's what you're going to learn to do. So always tell what that next step is. So the next step for you is let's talk about how this went and whether this is a fit for you to go through another little program that will help you know what to say when you finish speaking. All right.